inverter and a battery. And then you could use this camping or use it for in an emergency. And then also my love, what first got me into solar was I've been building solar PA systems since the 70s. And I want to build a small music system. I have a rather large solar music system now, and I'm going to go back to doing the small ones. But I'll let Betsy talk about the Rover, which is quite a unique product.
Yeah, they say, what is it? Necessity of invention.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Right. Okay. I teach solar thermal design and installation at the community colleges with another person. And when we teach at this class, this equipment is very heavy and very bulky. And it was very difficult for us to drag it around to every classroom and set up a working system in the time that we had to do the class. So we said to each other, gee, wouldn't it be great if we had a portable, mobile, fully functioning solar thermal system that we could demonstrate to our classes? And we came back and we spoke to Jody about it, and he said, I think this is a great idea. Let's start prototyping. And we came up with what we call the SunDog Rover, which is a portable solar thermal education station that's fully functional. And we came up with all kinds of innovations like clear tanks and clear piping so the students could see how the fluid moves through the system. And since that time, we've sold, 8 or 9 of these throughout the country. Because it just didn't exist before, and people want to teach solar thermal, and this gives them a good way to demonstrate it. So we're very excited about that product.
I try to keep political stuff out of these programs, but I'm sitting here and I'm talking to 2 people who are living in rural upstate New York, and you're developing all these marvelous technologies, applying these technologies, and you have ways for people to save money, to get a big return on investment. And I know there's a lot of people out there who wouldn't want to see that happen.
Why? Why wouldn't they want to see that happen?
I don't know. Who owns, stock in a big company, ExxonMobil maybe?
I don't see how this hurts anybody. I think it's just
but they seem
good
to be
for
scared.
them.
They seem to be scared of it. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, when you've got a lot of people who are in a position to make policy decisions that could assist your industry, you have these same people saying global warming is just a lie. It's all fake. It's not happening. And, when you see those people getting into positions of making decisions on policy, to me, it gets a little scary. I guess that's where the politics get into it. It sounds to me, though, also that like what you do has a lot more practical application and would be easier to ease a nation into than the cap and trade. I don't want to call it a scheme, but I never fully understood how just seeing who had enough money to be able to pollute actually solved the problem.
Well, taxing carbon is absolutely what we need to do. And the, cap and trade, which is basically taxing the coal companies for emitting carbon, it's coming, and it can't come soon enough. And right now in New York State, there is legislation to create, the renewable credits, where the companies that are creating the carbon have to, where the utilities are mandated to, by 2020, I think, go 15 or 20%, with renewables. They must pay, a premium to put renewables in their portfolio. That gives a bonus to every solar producer. Besides getting electricity, they'll be getting money from the utility. This is a bill that needs to pass, but it's deadlocked in the state legislature. There's also a program called PACE, which would allow you to say to your municipality, I want solar on my house, and boom, it gets installed, and you don't pay a dime. You just pay yearly your offset cost of electricity you pay in property taxes. You pay for it over 20 years. That takes away the biggest impediment we have, which is the big upfront cost. You have to pay for the whole system. You're paying for your oil rig, your oil refinery, your power, you're paying for the whole thing up front. Yes, it pays you back in 10, 12 years. And then for the next, 20, 30, 40 years, it's giving you free electricity, but you still upfront in this economy have to pay that upfront cost. Well, the PACE program would eliminate that. And I think that would be just fantastic for solar.
From a purely savings perspective and advantage to the homeowner, when you can see the amounts of money you can save with this technology, because I guess my point is, wouldn't that be an easier sell to the public than some complicated other policy? I mean, I understand the theory behind cap and trade, but but in a lot of areas, it's a hard sell. Wouldn't what you're doing be a more attractive, easier sell?
Absolutely.
Well, I think when I talk to people about these products, I try not to enter a lot of political discussion. Right. I simply say, this is a system that works from the sun's energy, and it will pay you back. You put a certain amount of money into it, and it will pay you back. And as long as the sun keeps rising, right, you will have energy.
I mean, the sun is free. The sun is free. The sun gives you free energy. It doesn't cost anything. How much are you paying for your energy now? The sun can drive your car. We're going to be having electric cars in the next 2 years. We're going to have our choice of 10, 15, 20
Jody,
different models.
Are you sure the sun will be free? I'm just thinking, I used to be able to pull into a service station and inflate my tires for free. Now it costs me 50 cents for 2 minutes of air.
Yep, exactly. So, and you could tax the sunshine, I guess.
Hold on. I'm sitting here thinking, this makes so much sense. And that law you mentioned, the PACE thing, would allow more people to make the conversion, and there would be an immediate and probably dramatic, if you could get 30% of the nation to be able to convert to more solar and thermal, what would that, imagine the drop in oil, carbon-based fuel uses just
well,
from that.
It's just been done. I mean, if you look at Germany, a country that gets less sun than we do in New York State, they get less per hours of sun than
they're the
we
most solarized nation in the world.
And they did it with a thing called a feed-in tariff, which is basically everything we're talking about. The utility, which in Germany I believe is all public owned, so they're not motivated by profit, greed, et cetera, they were mandated by the people, by their owners, to pay a premium for the electricity that is generated, so that in 5 years you pay the system off, and then for the next 5 or 10 years you're making a big profit, and then it goes down to the regular, dollar for dollar that you would have paid. But and there was no limitation to the amount of solar you could put up. So people were leasing other people's roofs. It just started a whole entrepreneur.